Hey Sean, are you sorry, bro? Are you predicting who's gonna win at the end?
No, no, I'm not. I'm gonna save that for later. We're gonna do those predictions later. All right, we're gonna roll on. So we're gonna start with the very next team. Let me just go. It is cashing my Belichick's. He finished sixth last year. He went 8-5. I also have him going 11-12 too, and I gave him an A plus. The reason for the A plus is he had an excellent draft. There was not one pick that I would say, hey, this was a horrible pick. He picked his running backs first. He picked his wide receivers next, tight ends. He went light in order. There was not one pick that I said, yeah, this was a horrible pick, except for one. And it was Cam Newton. And I said this in the beginning. I was not a fan of Cam Newton, but at the time of the draft, he was the starter. And I can't dig him for that. He was the starter. Everybody thought Mac Jones was going to sit for the year. So, yeah, I got him an A plus, and he had a great draft. Looking at his team, he does have Mac Jones now, so that is the starter. His running backs are James Conner, Austin Eckler, and Najee Harris. His wide receivers, Terry McLaurin, Devontae Johnson, Ayuk, tight ends, Jasicki, Tyler Conklin, which I think he was kind of happy for like a day. When Irv Smith went down, he's like, yes, I got another starter tight end, but then they traded for Henderson. His flex, he has Cole Beasley, Cortland Sutton, Russell Gage. His bench, he does still have Cam Newton. He might drop him, who knows. He does have Trey Sermon on there, Cordell Patterson, Donald Parham, who I'm actually a fan of, and Adam Trotman. So he definitely has, some good rookie tight ends, or I believe Parham is actually year 2. Looking at his IDPs, he does have Devin White, Trayvon Diggs, Bud Dupree on there. So, and he actually has a guy I'm actually high on this year of Quinnen Williams. And then looking at his defense, he does have the Cardinals and Prater. I think the Cardinals are also another team that are going to win a lot of games, but also win them by high scoring. So those would be detrimental to your ID. And AJ Johnson. Thanks, Kamish. Thanks for that one. I appreciate it, buddy. And then moving on to the next team. Let me just go here. We can just do this. Sophomore. I didn't have his logo, so this is the logo that he got. He finished 5th last year. He went 8-5. I have him projected to go 8-5. Last year he was the rookie. I'm pretty sure it is the same team. The question is he going to be the juniors next year, or will he just be the veterans at that point? I gave him a B minus. The reason for the B minus was he took Blake Garwin over Clement. Obviously, Clement is the starting tight end. Garwin is coming off that injury. The actual pick I liked was the Jacoby Myers pick. I am actually a fan of. He took him, I believe, in the round 8 or 9, and he took that. The reason for the B minus, and I will say it every time, he took a kicker in the 10th round. Why are you taking a damn kicker so damn early? Stop taking kickers early. Took him in the 10th round, and that is why he got the B minus. Looking at his team, though, he does have Jalen Hurts. Honestly, if he had a better quarterback, he would probably have more wins. I am not a fan of Jalen Hurts. Even as being an Eagles fan, I am not a fan of Jalen Hurts. Running backs, he does Aaron Jones, Damian Harris, Darnell Henderson. He does have all starting running backs. Wide receivers, he does have Marvin Jones, Tyler Lockett, Elijah Moore. Tight ends, Blake Garwin and Pat Freiermuth, who's been fed the ball in preseason and looks like a beast to be reckoned with. Flex, he does have Myers, Hardman, and Nico Collins. His bench is okay. He does have 2 starting quarterbacks on his bench, and Tyrod Taylor and Zach Wilson. Tony Jones, who just cemented the RB2, and CJ Umath. He's okay. I'm not going to really ding him there. IDPs, who does have Randall Gregory, and he does. I don't have no idea. Anthony Barr, I see him on there. So he does have Anthony Barr. He's also one of those other teams who does have defenses and kickers. He does have Chiefs and the Titans, and kickers, he has Daniel Carlson and Josh Lambo. I say you get rid of Carlson and just keep Lambo. And we went the wrong way there. Next up, we have the Cal Bay Marauders. He finished 4th, and he went 12-1, and I actually have him going 12-1 also. And he does have the B minus with the exempt. He took Jared Cook over Clement, and really that is the main reason for the B minus. I mean, how can you take Jared Cook over a stud tight end who's the number one? And then he took Dan Arnold, I believe it was in the 4th round, and it made him reach for running backs. It made him reach. He took taking Dan Arnold made him reach for Salvin Ahmed. And honestly, if you didn't take Dan Arnold, you would have been fine. But yeah, going 12-1, who really cares at that point? Looking at his team, he does have Ryan Tannehill, running backs. He has Delvin Cook, Chris Carson, Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is boom or bust, usually bust, but as your RB3, who cares? Wide receivers, Devontae Adams, Devontae Parker, and I demand that you trade for Devontae Smith, but you have Robbie Anderson. Your tight ends, you do have Jared Cook and Dan Arnold. I'm not a fan of Cook, but I do like Arnold. His flex is James Washington, Paris Campbell, and Salvin Ahmed. I'd like the first two. Salvin Ahmed is RB3. I mean, Miles Gaskins might get injured, but right now he's RB3. Looking at his bench, Tim Patrick is probably the best player on his bench. His IDPs, he has Buda Baker, Shaq Thompson, Patrick Peterson, and Xavier Howard. And yeah, I mean, his IDPs are pretty well. He does have the Dolphins. Again, that's another team where you have the Dolphins. They're going to score a lot of points, but they're also going to let up a lot of points as well. And he also has Chris Boswell as his kicker. Next up, we have No More. He finished 3rd. He went 10-3. I have him going 4-9. The question I have for you, Chris, is what happened? Why is your team so bad here? And I gave him a B+ for drafting, but he had no picks. I think I looked at it. He had 2 picks in the first 5. So it hurt him. But he got the B+ because he made use of those picks. But he has no picks. You're looking at his team. He has Josh Allen, Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, David Montgomery. I mean, besides Derrick Henry, I mean, David Montgomery is boom or bust. And if he didn't have those easy games that teams he played against, he would have been top 20, not even in the top 20 running backs. Mark Ingram, he's old. He has a lot of people on his team. Wide receivers, AJ Green, Mike Evans, Marquez Callaway. I love Callaway. I agree. Mike Evans, I mean, I think we talked about it earlier. Mike Evans, he's not going to get 1,000 yards. He might get 10 touchdowns. Is he going to get 1,000 yards? I don't think so. AJ Green, I mean, he's wide receiver 3 on his team. Looking at his tight ends, he does have Hunter Henry and Kyle Pitts, who I think are great. But then you look at his flex. I mean, the best flex player is Kendrick Bourne on his team. Looking at his bench, he has Matt Breida, Jameis Winston, but he's not going to play him. So Josh Allen's going to start for him. And who really cares? The rest of his team is on his bench. They're not that good. Looking at his IDPs, he does have Patrick Queen. He does have Von Miller, but Van Der Esch, is he even a starter? Is he going to play all 3 downs? Probably not. He has, Jalen Mills, who, in my opinion, is a bum. Jalen Ramsey, I mean, he does have the football team's defense, which I'm actually a fan of. And he has Justin Tucker, who probably is the number 1 kicker in fantasy football, but they're not going to win you games. And that's why you got a 4-9. Oh, and the reason for the B+, let me just actually find his team real quick so I can give him a full rundown. He took Marquez Callaway in the 3rd, which I thought was excellent. But like I said before, having 2 picks in the first 5 made to reach for Mark Ingram and McKinnon because you had no other running backs, or you might have Derrick Henry. You can't do that. You need to have at least 3 picks in the top 5. That way you can make some picks, especially a pick in 1 or 2. And that is why you got a B+ because you made the use of your picks, but you had to reach for them. Next up, we have Young Wolf. He finished 3rd. He went 9-4. His projected record is 7-6. And honestly, he was another one of those teams that I could see going 6-7 up to 9-4 again. It's just the teams he play are pretty damn tough. And I mean, he has a pretty good team. That's why I gave him a 7-6. But it's going to come down to, my opinion, a couple games, 1 or 2 points, they're going to win the game for him or lose the game for him. I gave him a B. He took Gus Edwards at 119. I would have probably went, either waited for Philip Lindsay. At the time, Gus Edwards was the backup running back. Okay, this is why he is now the current starter, but at the time he was the backup. Philip Lindsay did go later. I did like the picks of Waddle and Komet, so I can't complain there. Looking at his team, he does have Joe Burrow, Melvin Gordon, Mostert, Gus Edwards. The first two guys, though, Gordon and Mostert, how long do they keep the starting jobs? That's the honest question for them. Because Melvin Gordon got Javonte Williams breathing down his neck. Mostert has Trey Sermon breathing down his neck. How long can they keep the starting job going? Looking at his wide receivers, he does have Adam Thielen, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle. Be pretty good. Again, tight ends, Jack Doyle and Cole Kmet. I like the Kmet. I don't like Jack Doyle. I think he loses that starting gig to Mo Alley Cox. Looking at his flex, he has got Goodwin, Penny, and Moore. I like Moore. Penny, he's been a bust, since the beginning. And Goodwin, is he really going to actually do anything this year? Looking at his bench, he actually has Big Ben and Rashad Bateman on his bench. I think Bateman by week 3 would be starting for him, or whenever he comes back. I believe he's actually injured. So, but when he comes back, he's going to be a starter for him. He's probably going to take over for Penny or Goodwin. He does have Josh Palmer also there. I think he'll be a good flex player for him as well. Looking at his IDPs, he does have Micah Parsons, Zayn Collins, Terrell Edmonds. His IDPs aren't horrible. They're probably top 10, maybe top 8. So that's about it. His defenses, he does have 2 defenses. He does have the Broncos and the Bears. The Bears aren't what they used to be. The Broncos, they have good cornerbacks, but can they actually stop the run? That's the question. And he does have Matt Gay as well. Next up, we have, I think I went the wrong. That's supposed to be a first place finish and not a 5th place finish. That is bad on my opinion. But we have the number 1 team that finished last year. He went 9-4. I actually have him going 8-5. He was the one game that I actually hesitated with the commission, seeing who was going to win. I gave him a draft grade of C. And the reason for that, let me just take a quick look at it, is he took Tony Pollard at 120 and Hines at 2-1. There were starting running backs still there that were definitely available. I always bring up Philip Lindsay, but he was definitely there. He went in the 3rd round, and that's looking at the 1st round. He took Hayden Hurst at 4-1. He could have taken Trotman, Frisker, Everett, and Knox. And then the pick that I think was actually automated for him, he took Cam Akers at 5-2, at 520, but I think that pick was automated. So I didn't ding him on that one, but that is why he got to see. Looking at his quarterbacks, he does have Kyler Murray. Looking at his running backs, he does have Christian McCaffrey, and then he has 2 backups, or at least Hines is the PPR back. Pollard is RB2. Wide receivers, he does have Nelson Aguilar, Cooper Kupp, and Calvin Ridley. Ridley, I like Kupp. I'm not a fan of Aguilar. He can't catch the ball. Looking at his tight ends, he does have Travis Kelce and Hayden Hurst. His flex, he does have Willie Snead, Josh Reynolds, and Benny Schnell, but who cares? Looking at his bench, he does actually have Malcolm Brown, and I honestly think Malcolm Brown is going to split carries with Myles Gaskins. And I think, by week 2, if he doesn't start on week 1, Malcolm Brown will be in the lineup. Steven Sims, I'm pretty sure, is a free agent. Mitch Trubisky, you have a backup quarterback on your team still. I don't know why. Looking at his IDPs, he does have Fred Warner on there, Cameron Jordan, Cameron Hayward, LaMarcus Joyner. I like Fletcher Cox, but he's on your bench. And, you have the Ravens defense, who I think is going to be good. I don't think they're going to be as great as usual. I think they will be a top 10 defense. I don't think they will be a top 5 defense. And then you have Jason Myers as your kicker, and you can't go wrong with him. Well, everybody, that is the tier 2 team preview. So let me know what you think, and I'll wait till the commission tell me I'm an idiot, but that's okay, because I like to tell him he's an idiot. But that's fine. That's what we do. We shit talk. And feel free to tell me what you think about my projections for your team. And I'll let you speak, Kamish, before I stop the meeting. It looks like you want to say something.
I mean, for me, when I look at the tier 2 league right now, I mean, I could already tell you who the good teams are going to be because it's the teams that are actually paying attention and making good moves. I think I'm going to be good, obviously. I think Mike and Matt in my division are going to be really good. I don't really like anyone in Division 2, to be honest. I hope my nephew Kalen does well, but we'll see. Obviously, Brandon's little brother is active. I like Kristen no more. Obviously, we've seen what he's done in Dynasty. I overlooked sophomore, I feel. Stewart, obviously, is our reigning Dynasty champion. And I actually do like Klenji Bucks, even though he screwed up there with the whole keeper situation. I think I've seen him make intelligent moves too. And Finn was also a referral from Eric and Swahino, who has the best win percentage in LOC history. So there's good owners in here. I think it can get better. And, you know, I thank Mike. He helped bring a lot of new owners in. So I know he's on the call, so I appreciate that. And I'm just excited to see some LOC owners that are poor still. We know there's about 1 or 2 still in there, Sean. And hopefully things work themselves out. And we see guys like Mike and Chris and everybody else get up there where, you know, hopefully they can bring more competition.
Exactly. And one last thing I do want to say is we're not going to do week 1 team projections or team previews or whatever hell you want to call them, game previews, but we will be live for week 2, and we'll do them at this time next week for tier 2.